welcome back. My name is Kabira and this is Kabira Speaks. So today I want to talk to you guys about the human response to fear. The human response to fear oftentimes is not intentional. It's not a conscious effort. It's something that your brain kind of does and decides for you. And I find that very interesting, that your brain wants to protect your body so much that it will override your conscious control and do what it thinks is best for you. So the responses to fear, you have fight. Now this is something that you're probably very familiar with, fight or flight. When an animal is afraid or threatened, they may, attack, physically fight the other animal, or they may try to run away. If their brain decides that that is the quickest way to get them out of the danger. Human beings are the same way. When we feel afraid, when we feel that there is a danger, real or just perceived, we will automatically respond in one of these ways. So fight, you could use a weapon, you could use your hands. The main thing is that you are physically fighting back whatever it is that you're afraid of. Flight would be running away or escaping by some other means. A flight is just leaving as quickly as possible. So those are the two responses to fear that I think people are most familiar with. But there's also the response to freeze. Now, when I think of freeze, I think of my rabbit. So I have a rabbit named Annie. She's a little lion head. She's very cute and small. And because Annie is an animal of prey, and if she were in the wild, she would have to be constantly watching her back. I feel like Annie is always watching her back, even in my nice, adequate apartment. No, it's a nice apartment. I can say that. In my humble, nice apartment, Annie, even though nothing in here is going to hurt her, she's still kind of always on guard. And if I step towards her too loudly or startle her, she'll either sprint away really quickly or she'll just not move. She'll tense up. She'll just potato mode and stay in the same position for a length of time. And humans do that too. Now freeze is really interesting because people, when they are afraid and they freeze, oftentimes people will feel very upset with themselves. Well, why didn't I move? Or why didn't I run away? Why didn't I fight back? And the thing is, you really, like I said, don't have all that much control over it because it's your brain trying to protect your body. And this happens so lightning fast. Physical abuse, domestic abuse victims often freeze, or sexual assault victims often freeze. They ask why didn't I get up? Why did I stay the night? The phrase paralyzed with fear is very real in this case. And then the final one that is even less known about and talked about is appease. So this fear response is when the person who is afraid, their brain says, okay, to get out of this situation, we have to appease the danger. So, for example, if you were facing an animal and you knew you couldn't fight it, and you knew you couldn't run away, and you knew if you were frozen, you would be dead, so you throw it a steak or something. I don't know. Probably don't do that with an animal, but you want to appease the animal so that it doesn't harm you. We do that with humans as well. And what that looks like is something that I have been researching and been very interested in, because appeasing is so much different than all of the other ones. The fight, it's a physical act. Flight, it's running away. Freezing, it's standing still, but appeasing is engaging with what you feel afraid of. Appeasing is engaging with what you feel afraid of. You try to make the danger feel okay or placated so that the danger, whether that's a human being or an animal or whatever, so that the danger doesn't hurt you. So how this came up for me, two things happened this summer. One of them being I opened up a major can of trauma that I hadn't dealt with, a sexual assault trauma. So that kind of came up and it was unavoidable in my life. And so I had to be in therapy, and, because I was working through that, what had happened to me, I became like very hypersensitive, very hyper aware all the time, hyper vigilant, I guess, you could say. And the second thing that happened was that I moved. At the beginning of COVID, I moved out of like a really suburb area into a more city area. And because of COVID and everything, I spent a lot of time walking. Like, I didn't really drive anywhere. I would walk to work, my serving job, I'd walk to the gym, I'd walk to the store. Those are only like the three places I've went all summer. But while I was out walking, without fail, I would get catcalled. Like, at least once, usually more than once. And every time it's like a varying degree of bad to worse, like, I never like it. It doesn't matter who they are or what they look like. It doesn't feel good to be catcalled. And some people are like really disgusting and vulgar and rude. And that began happening to me like all the time. And I was, really hyper aware of it. And I noticed something else. I noticed that every time someone would like catcall me or, try to pick me up or something, I would smile at them and I would like laugh and talk and chat with them. And then I would turn down their advances because I didn't want to actually continue it. But for a moment or several moments, I would engage with them. And after the moment passed and I kept walking away, I would always be like really mad at myself. Like, Kabira, why did you just do that? Like, that person disgusted you. That person made you nervous and uncomfortable. Why did you just smile and laugh with him? And that's when I found out about fight, flight, freeze, or appease. And what I was doing, because I was feeling hypervigilant and worried that any person who comes up to me, any male who comes up to me, I don't know what their intentions are. And they could easily overpower me, and they could easily hurt me. Whether they want to hurt me or don't want to hurt me, they have the power to hurt me. And that made me very afraid. Like, all summer long, this summer, walking around, I was afraid. And even while I was afraid, I was smiling and laughing with these people. So that's appeasing. And, you can do that in various degrees. Like, I myself found myself dating the person who hurt me. And that, in a way, is a form of appeasing the danger. It's just so interesting to me how the mind works. Like, it just, your brain is trying to protect you. And if you've been in any of these positions where you feel afraid, whether it's something like that severe or just feeling afraid at all, then you know what I'm talking about. So if you want to digest and process this, because it was something that I kind of had to process, just thinking back on all the times that I was afraid and that was my response. I gotta say though, wearing a mask does kind of help, because my knee-jerk reaction is to smile. But with a mask on, I can kind of like check my emotion to my face, my facial expression. And yeah, I feel like that gives me a time to like adjust and pull back, and then I can say the things that I need to say, like, get away from me, or, whatever I need to say to get away from that situation. So if you need to kind of process the things that we went over today and talked about today, I would suggest maybe like a light journaling exercise. Just ask yourself, like, when was the last time I was afraid, and how did I respond? How do I feel about the way that I responded? Because you have to know that no matter how you respond when you're afraid, it is okay. You don't have to feel badly about responding the wrong way, because there isn't a wrong way. Okay, it's your brain overriding. It is a biological response to fear. I was reading that supposedly whatever secondary emotion you're having alongside of the fear dictates kind of which direction your brain takes you in. Like, it said if you're feeling rage while also afraid, or you're feeling angry while also afraid, that you're gonna fight. And that if you feel terror while being also afraid, even though they're kind of the same thing to me, that you'll choose flight. If you're feeling anxious, you're going to freeze. And then if you're feeling a sense of doom or foreboding, then you'll try to appease. But I don't know how much I agree with that, because I think fear encompasses a lot of those things. Like, you can feel afraid, and you can feel enraged, and you can feel anxious, and you can feel a sense of foreboding all at the same time. So I don't know how it works, because I'm not a biologist, brain scientist, but I do find, the brain very interesting. So if you want to talk about this, you know where to reach me. And I hope you guys are doing well. Like, this has been such a difficult time. It really, really has. And I feel like I'm doing better now. And now that I'm doing a little bit better, I realized how badly I was doing, like, all summer long. It's crazy how, like, difficult this has been on my mental health, and I'm sure on a lot of other people. So feel free to message me at any time, email me if you need a friend or need someone to listen to you. I'd be happy to. So thank you so much for watching my video and continuing to support me, and I'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.